the obligation to be at ease in the sajdah. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to command the completion of the ruku and sajdah, preparing. He also ruled that the prayer of one who does not straighten his spine fully in the ruku or the sajdah, it is invalid, as we mentioned in the ruku. The Athkar, or what is the supplication in the sajdah? What do we say in the sajdah? Everybody got this? Everybody got this?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're saying, what is the supplication in the sajdah? He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would say any one of the following remembrances of Allah, supplications, but we're going to recite the easiest one. And this is narrated by Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Abdul-Walee, and the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, that he would say, Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. So we'll write this down. So this is in Sajdah. Sajdah is what?
Prostration.
Okay. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. A'la. This is the ayn. A'la. Okay? Glory be to my Lord, the Most High. The Most High. Okay? And we say this at least 3 times. Okay? A'ala. A'ala means the Most High. Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. A'ala, from like the same word Ali, Aliyah, like the singer Aliyah. Aliyah, that word came from A'la. Aliyah means lofty, high. Ali. Ali is the masculine form. Aliyah is the feminine form of Ali. If y'all didn't know. So in the sajdah position we say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Glory be to my Lord, the Most High. Right? A'ala. A'a. This is a Hamza. This is a sukoon on the ayn. So Subhana, we know the first Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. A'ala. Lam. La. Subhana Rabbiyal A'ala. Okay? A'ala. Okay, repeat after me. Everybody. Subhana.
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 Rabbiyal
Rabbiyal
A'ala.
A'la.
Subhana.
Subhana.
Rabbiyal
Rabbiyal
A'ala.
A'la.
Subhana.
Subhana.
Rabbiyal
Rabbiyal
A'ala.
A'la.
The women. Subhana. Rabbiyal A'ala. The men. Subhana.
Subhana.
Rabbiyal
Rabbiyal
A'ala.
A'la.
Okay? Glory be to my Lord, the Most High. So while I'm in my most humblest position, I'm declaring and proclaiming that Allah is the Most High above all things. The forbiddance of reciting the Quran and Sajdah, we talked about that in the ruku, that it's haram to recite the Quran in the Sajdah position. So we can't recite Quran, Alhamdulillah, we can't do any surahs from the Quran. But we can make du'as that the Prophet Muhammad did. Any du'as or any du'as that we make up, right? As well as in the Sajdah position, this is the time that we're supposed to ask for whatever it is that we want. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to forbid recitation of the Quran in the ruku and sajdah, and commanded striving and a lot of supplication in this posture, as explained previously. He used to say, the slave is closest to his Lord when he is prostrating, so increase in your supplication in your sajdah. The slave is closest to his Lord when he is prostrating, so increase in your supplication in the prostration. This is narrated by Sahih Muslim. So you are the closest to Allah in the prostration, in your sajda. What is the sajda position?
Prostration.
What is the ruku position?
Bowing.
What's the qiyam position?
Standing.
What's the jalsa position?
Brief sitting.
Okay. We're going to get there in a minute. I'll just test it out. Okay? So it's forbidden to recite the Quran in this position. And in this position, you should take your time in the sajda position, because this is the time where you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever it is that you're asking for. This is the time. It's ever heard in the sajda position. Okay? Ever heard. And cry in this position. Lengthening in the sajda. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would make his sajda about as long as his ruku, and sometimes he would make it extremely long due to the circumstances. As one of his companions said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out to us for one of the two later prayers, either Dhuhr or Asr, carrying Hassan on the same. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam then came to the front and put him down next to the right foot and said takbir for the prayer and commenced praying. During the prayer, he performed a very long prostration. So I raised my head from among the people, and there was a child on the back of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who was in prostration. I then returned to my prostration. Then when the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had offered the prayer, the people said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, you performed the prostration and lengthened it so much that we thought either something had happened or that you were receiving revelation. He said, neither of those was the case. Actually, my son made me his mount, so I did not want to hurry him until he had satisfied his wish. So he's saying that Hassan al-Hussein was climbing on his back, and because they were playing, he didn't want to stop them from playing, so he made his prostration long so that he could continue playing on his back. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ was praying. When he performed sajda, Al-Hassan and Hussein jumped on his back. When the people tried to stop them, he gestured to them to leave the two alone. After offering the prayer, he placed them on his laps and said, whoever loves me, they should love these two, Al-Hassan and Hussein. Okay, so we love them. We love Hassan and Hussein, but we don't get fanatical with them. We don't beat ourselves and yahoos. We don't do all of that. Those are the Shiites. We don't do that. But we do love Ahlul Bayt, but we don't get fanatical with it. Okay? That's a whole nother subject. Okay? In another hadith, excuse me, the excellence of the sajda. The excellence of the sajda. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to say, there is no one among my ummah whom I will not recognize on the day of resurrection. They said, how will you recognize them, O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, among the multiple of created things? How will you notice the people that followed you? How will you notice the people who are of your ummah? How will you notice them? He said, do you not see that were one of you to enter an enclosure in which there was a jet black steed and a horse with a white forehead and legs, would you not recognize the later and the former? They said, of course. So he said, what if you saw two horses? One that was all black and one that was all black, but his legs and his arms were white. Surely you'll be able to recognize that horse with the white streaks on it. They said, of course. He said, thus my ummah on the day of resurrection will surely have white faces because of sajda and white arms and feet because of their ablution. Now remember, we talked about this going over the Sirat, over the bridge, when it said that some people, they'll be a'ama, they'll be blind, there'll be no light. So the face will be the nur, your hands and your feet will be the nur to pass over the Sirat, which is the bridge that passes over the hellfire. Those who do not make wudu won't have a light. Those who do not make prostration will not have a light. So the more you increase in your wudu, you perfect your wudu, the more your light increases. Ibn Abbas, he said he liked to go higher than the ankles. He used to go to the shin, hoping that Allah will increase his light on Yom Qiyamah. Good. So this is something that on Yom Qiyamah the Muslims will be identified because of our prostrations and because of our wudu. Okay? He would also say, when Allah intends to have mercy on someone, He wishes of the people of the fire. If Allah intends to have mercy on whomever He wishes of the people of the fire, He will order the angels to bring out whoever used to worship Allah. So again, anyone who entered the fire, meaning there will be some people, Muslims, that will go to the fire. But all those who used to worship Allah, He will have them removed. So they will bring them out, recognizing them from their marks of Sajdah, because the face of the believer will not be burned. Especially one who made prostration, it will not be burned in the fire. For Allah has prohibited the fire from devouring the marks of Sajdah. Thus they will be brought out from the fire, for the fire devours all of the son of Adam except the marks of Sajdah. Sajdah on the ground or on mats. He would often prostrate on the bare ground with nothing there. So sometimes he would prostrate on the bare ground. You don't need a prayer rug. You don't need a prayer rug. All right? And actually, the prayer rug of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ wasn't even long. It was just long enough for his head to prostrate on. Inshallah, we'll get into it. So all of these prayer rugs with the beautiful things, they're pretty much a bid'ah. With all the colorful things and the magic. There's even some scholars who say that we shouldn't prostrate on the rugs that have the picture of the Kaaba or stand on it, because they say this is disrespectful to the Kaaba. But Allahu Alam. Allahu Alam. I just saw that on Facebook. Some scholar put that up there.
What was that?
About the prayer rugs that have the pictures of the Kaaba,
Oh.
that you shouldn't stand on them because you're standing on the Kaaba. So that's disrespectful. And
Yeah.
somebody just posted that on Facebook. Allahu Alam.
Nah, well.
Sajdah on the ground and on mats. He would often prostrate on the bare ground. This is narrated by, this was because the mosque was not covered with mats back then. This is evident from great many ahadith, such as the one we'll get into next. His companions would pray with him in the intense heat. So when one of them could not press his forehead against the ground because of the heat, he would spread his robe and prostrate on that. So he would spread his robe or pull part of his robe and put so that he could prostrate his head on the ground. Okay, but they used to pray without no mats, no rugs, no nothing. The only reason why they put something down is because it was hot. Okay, of those who know the hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said that one of the things that Allah blessed the Prophet Muhammad with, that He didn't bless with any other prophet, was that He made the whole earth a masjid. So the whole earth has been made a place of prostration. You could prostrate except in the bathrooms or in the camel dens, okay, or wherever there's filth or najis or boo-boo, stuff like that.
Church property.
Amen.
Church property.
Church, stuff like that. He also used to say, the whole earth has been made a place of worship, a masjid, and a purification for me and my ummah. So whoever prayer becomes due on someone of my ummah, he has the place of worship, the masjid, and his purification next to him. Thus, those before me used to think that this was too much. Indeed, they would only pray in their churches and synagogues. So he said, in His advent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the whole earth a masjid and a place of purification, because we know we can pray on the earth and we can make tayammum from the earth. So He said your place of prostration and your purification is right next to each other. So Allah made it easy. And another hadith, it says sometimes he would prostrate in the mud or the water, showing that he didn't have no mat. He would prostrate in the mud and water, and that happened to him once at dawn on the 21st night of Ramadan, when it rained and the roof of the mosque was leaking. So he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, prostrated in the mud and the water. One of the Sahaba said, I saw with my own eyes Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the traces of mud and water on his forehead and nose from prostrating. Also, he would pray on a khumrah, this is the mat, sometimes, or on a mat sometimes, and he prayed on it once when he had become blackened due to he prayed on it once when it had become blackened due to prolonged use. A khumrah is a piece of matting, palm fiber, or any other material which is big enough for a man to place his face on it for sajdah. The term does not apply to larger pieces. So again, the khumrah, the thing that the Prophet Muhammad prostrated on, is a piece of matting, a palm fiber, or other material which is big enough for a man to place his face on it for sajdah. So really the prayer rug should be something just enough to place your forehead on. Okay? Inshallah, we'll stop there. And we'll have a brief break, inshallah, then we'll come back, inshallah, after 10-15 minutes, inshallah. We have any questions before we break? Inshallah, we'll take a 10-minute break, 15-minute break, inshallah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wa a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus solihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Ameen.